Hello and welcome to the show. This week's Fair Race versus the community, we go racing with some cycle production. That means 3 races with 3 different, all completely stock cars. Starting with the Honda Prelude that, as it turns out, is one of the noisiest cars in the world. I don't know what Forza has done to the Hondas, but the Prelude is unbelievably noisy. Now, the replay does not quite do it justice compared to when you're actually driving on board with it. It's ridiculous how noisy the Preludes are. However, they are very, very good fun cars to go racing with. One of the leaders did have some controller trouble, which is why you see them pulled over to the side at the start of all of this. The rest of the pack are getting through relatively well. Unfortunately for me, I started down the back and got tangled up, and that cost me even more time. Not a great start for me as this lead pack continue to go 2 and 3 wide through these opening corners down towards the hairpin for the first time. It is the white Castrol car that tries to sneak up the inside. In fact, tries to get 2 cars in one go, however bites off more than he can chew as he gets stuck on the outside on the run up towards the penultimate corner. One of my favourite sneaky little overtaking spots. A lot of people aren't quite prepared for cars sneaking their way up the inside there, and sure enough, the poor Castrol car that was at one point side by side with the leader has lost 3 positions in the space of 2 corners as he falls back to quite unlucky. These sort of cars, one little mistake is horrendously costly, especially when the pack is as close as it was there. For these opening laps, it certainly was the front group that was having the most of the excitement here. The battle for second place. The white and red car have a look around the outside at the second to last corner. A more difficult manoeuvre to pull off, but it is one that is eminently doable, as the Prelude shows. Manages to get his car back across so he doesn't have to go around the outside of the final corner as well. Yeah, a good overtake. It's a lot more difficult to pull that one off than sneaking up the inside into that corner, but well done for making it stick. And again, bearing in mind all of these cars are completely the same, all completely identical, etc. For me, I gradually worked my way up. I actually had very good pace in these cars. I would have liked to have been able to fight with the front runners, but gradually worked my way up to the kind of the back end of the train. This black car got himself into a bit of trouble and dropped it back. And this is where we see the problem of running into traffic, especially, again, with cars like these. We saw it a little bit with the Abarth Cup that we've been running over the last few weeks, that with the lower class cars and the slightly slower cars, very difficult to find ways past, especially when everything's identical in every area. If you do make a mistake, you get steam trained. The dark blue car ran a tad wide out of the final corner, loses 2 positions from it. It's all it takes. If you are slightly slow in one place and you've got cars lining up to get past you, you can hold them off for a while and you can slow everybody down for a while, but you make that little mistake and everybody is keen to, well, go flying past. Yeah, we certainly weren't going to wait. Having got past the blue car, we were now off after the Castrol vehicle, and again we wanted to try and not get bogged down in battles, in traffic for more time than necessary. The white car runs very deep. The black car actually runs a little bit deep as well. I take the tighter line of all of them as we go 3 wides towards a corner where 2 wide is a bit sketchy at the best of times, but we just about managed to make it all work. I get 2 cars in 1 corner, which I will say thank you very much for that. Although as we run into the hairpin, I struggle to pull the car up in time. The black vehicle's got the run on the exit. The Castrol car tries to get underneath but can't quite do it as we head up towards these final couple of corners. But it's, as I said, a long way round for the black vehicle to manage. He thinks better of it. Tries to duck back underneath my car towards the final corner. Can't quite get his nose in to the position. I play it very dangerously with the sand trap on the exit. Just get away with it. I was a few millimetres the right side of putting a rear wheel on all of that. Further back, a purple car. This involved in sort of slightly laggy, unfortunate shunt that saw a couple of us dropped back, was trying to make his way up through the field, and it was much more sparsely populated further down the order. Has a look at trying to get past into turn 1, but of all the corners to try a pass, that one there is the diciest of the lot. Too far back to have a go into the second corner. However, again, one mistake from the car ahead. Runs too deep in the braking zone, is out a little wide on the exit, can't carry the speed, can't get on the throttle as soon as the purple car. And that's going to be a place gone. Now, in this instance, it's only one because there was only one car waiting behind, but if there had been a line of 2 or 3 cars waiting behind, they'd all have gone firing up the inside and you wouldn't have been able to get yourself back into line. Although the purple car does get a little bit lucky, is very wide in the next corner, was just far enough ahead that the vehicle behind wasn't able to capitalise. And continuing the theme of one little mistake being very costly, the leader did have a nice little bit of a margin, but a misshift cost him a huge amount of speed up towards the final corner. And despite second and third being rather engrossed in their own battle, that sudden loss of speed put the white and black car in a lot of trouble. Stuck on the outside for both parts of the final 2 turns, the white and red car with a lot more speed down the start finish straight, the pure white. There was a lot of white and coloured cars in this race. I think up to about 7th place it was white and some sort of colour at this stage in the race. Either way, the white and black vehicle in trouble at turn 1 out wide, couldn't quite get the car back across. And that's 2 places lost, all because of a misshift coming out of the hairpin. Yeah, when you've got cars relatively close behind, those mistakes are very costly. That is how it would lead up to the final lap. The pure white car had a look at the inside at the hairpin. A little bit of contact between the pair of them, but not quite able to get the pass done. The white and black car's having a look at the penultimate corner. There's not really close enough, not really the space to make that one work. Ended up having to bounce his way across the grass. Still, that white and red car would hold on as they head around the final turn. Maybe not quite the best run out of it, but it would be enough, and that was what was needed. It'd be enough to fend off that second place car. A manic, almost race-long battle for the lead, and certainly for those top 3 positions. It was also pretty close for 3rd, 4th and 5th. This would, for 4th, 5th and 6th. This would be the battle for 7th place, and this too would rage on for the entirety of the race, with us swapping positions pretty damn regularly and costing ourselves any chance of chasing down the group of cars ahead. We were losing a good 2 or 3 seconds a lap fighting in this battle. It was good fun. It was very good fun. But yeah, we just couldn't chase down the cars ahead when we were doing this on the final lap. While I would be stuck on the outside for the fast corner to the hairpin, I would be on the slightly preferred line. And while you can sometimes make passes work around that outside line, the black car was on the power that little bit too soon. Just got some understeer from his front-wheel drive prelude and would end up not out far enough onto the sand trap, but out enough to slow him down. He couldn't get a run up towards the final corners. I would defend quite heavily through there just to be on the safe side, and that would be a 7th place for me, which, considering the awful start, I was relatively happy about, and especially the good fun race that we had along the way. Race number 2, and we would head to the Catalunya full circuit with something a little bit different. The Subaru Impreza kind of full spec rally car. Now, that does put it out as A-class. It's quite fast accelerating, pretty good through the corners, perhaps a little soft. Kind of expect that from a rally car. Not very much in the way of straight line speed. Quite a nice easy car to drive, an easy car to handle, so we hoped for some good racing. Now, I had no luck with grid starts in this. I don't think I started higher than last place in any of these events, and I then got lag cannoned in turn 1. So it didn't really go amazingly well for me in the Subaru. Amazingly, I got no damage, but there we go. The front group were all plenty busy through these opening corners, as you would expect. Mostly got through pretty well, aside from the big old lag spike further back. Some locking up in the car that the camera's following here gets in a little bit of trouble, squeezed on the outside, although thankfully everybody's so busy fighting for the inside, nobody can really capitalise on that particular mistake as they're going side by side as they head towards the hill again. There's some kind of half opportunities going on for the group further back. Nothing quite clear-cut enough for somebody to be able to make a move stick. Now this top of the hill corner, well, there's another sand trap that you don't want to end up in. If you push your car a little bit too hard, yeah, it's easy to stick a wheel in that and lose yourself all of the momentum. I think everybody just got away on the opening lap as we battle through the next corners. The black car has got to the inside at the hairpin, but will then have to go the long way around towards the next corner. Problem is, they slow each other down so much fighting that one of the red Subarus spots a gap and gets the pair of them. Again, 2 cars in one corner, always very helpful when you are able to pull that one off as they then head towards this final quite narrow chicane. Although the advantage of being in a Subaru rally car is that these don't have any problems with the curbs. you're not going to get bounced around and rolled or launched onto your side on the curbs, at least with these, which is quite nice. Often the cars that I end up building are prone to having issues there, but yeah, having a rally car where you could be aggressive and attack those was pretty damn good. Again, the field would start to spread out a little bit in this one, and it was, yeah, more the lower down the order that we get the more excitement later on. This would be the battle for 4th place at this stage in the race, with the grey and blue car getting the pass done, briefly managing to overdrive the hairpin, getting very lucky, managing to avoid a tyre bundle on the outside. Yeah, you don't want to clip that. I had one moment where I got very close to running into that as well at some point during this race, but yeah, it would probably be the amount of excitement that we would see from the higher up positions in this race. I was, well, trying to recover from the mess of a start, coming up on a big group of cars fighting for position, and as they squabbled heading towards the final turn, well, I had much of the run. I had all of the speed to try to go around the outside. I got one of them. I'd hoped I'd be able to just soar past the yellow car here, get the move completed before turn 1. Unfortunately, that was not quite the case. We would have to go side by side and have to try and brave it out around the outside on the run into the first corner. If you can stick it there, of course, you will be on the inside through the second part, and indeed manage just about to get that one to work. But of course, being side by side with anybody through there, you both lose a huge amount of time, and there was another black Subaru that was coming to join in the fun, having been able to take a normal line through that particular corner. I had a lot of speed actually up towards the next turn, but not quite able to find a way past. You know, the car ahead will go defensive. I'm happy at that point, though, to try and take the outside line. If you get round the outside, well, you'll be on the inside for this next turn, which I have a go at and then can't quite pull the car up in time. Almost made it work. Almost got through this big pack of cars without losing too much time, but now we were stuck in a big old battle, managing to escape my way through. Somebody had a rear wheel on the curb, on the grass. That turn is so notorious for spitting cars into the gravel trap, and sure enough, they ended up in that one. Very easily done. Very easily done indeed. At the top of the hill, I carry a lot more speed, but we're all now so close to one another that if one of us has a problem, we all end up getting boxed in. There's a lot of swapping sides, changing position as we try to figure out the best way to attack or defend, find a way past. I'm stuck in the middle of it all, where, again, everybody's crisscrossing their way on the exit of the hairpin. The black car's actually got up alongside me, but he's got to go the long way round towards the next corner. The grey and red car is slow. All he was is a fraction slow and left a gap on the inside. And again, 2 cars passed in 1 corner. That was not even necessarily that slow. He just left a gap. He left a Subaru's wide gap on the inside. I said thank you very much. He then ended up bidding it in a tyre bundle and caused mayhem behind. Yeah, that's all it takes. I'll say thank you very much for that one. Get the pass done and we'll all run away. At the front, while there wasn't any change of position for these cars, it also wasn't exactly a lonely race. They did remain close. In fact, by this final lap, they were a little bit more spread out than they had been earlier on. There was a lot of just following each other around. Nobody quite fast enough to pull away or to close in to anybody to attempt to make a pass. Blue Subaru would take victory, a grey and red one in second, and I think it was a grey and blue one in third. So, yeah, not perhaps the most exciting. To the podium, Hordes would take victory. Shadow Shifter in second with a TR King Copper in third. Yeah, maybe not the most exciting race, but also not the most lonely race for those at front. Race number 3. We would have a Lotus Elise. Little did we know, little did I realise just quite how evil the little Lotus is. It's a very interesting car. A very interesting car, to say the least. It is good fun to drive when you get it right, but it will take a little while to learn. In fact, it will take quite a while to learn and get the hang of the weird and wonderful ways that the Elise here drives. The back of it's got a mind of its own, basically. The rear of the car has got a mind, or it feels for a long time that the back's got a mind of its own, and it takes a lot to get used to how you can keep it under control. Once you can, it is very rewarding to drive, and it's great fun to throw the car around, but I don't think you'll see a race with more of us going sideways than you will with these cars, because They were just ferociously... You can see them going through the S's. The silver car that we've got the camera on here gets a huge, huge slide. Loses one place. Everybody else is stacking up behind. And this is not a place where you want to be stacking up behind into this particular corner. Again, there's about 3 cars going very sideways. Someone manages to sim steering twitch their way into the wall. There was, a bit of a clonk for the cars further back. I did manage to make it through amazingly. Again, despite having started from last in all of this shenanigans. It was chaos. It was absolute chaos with these these evil little Lotus. Again, the silver car that we're following here managed to hold on to some of the positions. They didn't all evaporate on the opening lap. They held on to some of them. There was some brave overtaking attempts going on. That much is for sure. One of the cars, a little bit of lag, teleporting, managing to make its way around the outside of somebody almost up towards the final. It's 3 wide. With 3 wide in nearly uncontrollable Loti, managing to make it stick despite someone had buried it in the tyre bundle. I don't know whether they'd been turned or whether they'd lost control of the car on their own in the braking zone down there. It is possible to do as well, to just bin it completely in the braking zones. Trying to race with these cars early on was very much about holding on and kind of hoping for the best. In the end, the black and yellow car here just carried too much speed up towards that second corner there and couldn't quite get it turned in. Third place was perhaps the bigger battle on the track. First and second, again, much like we've seen in the Subarus, first and second were very much within visual range of one another, but nobody was close enough to even contemplate an overtake. Third was a very different story. The white car trying to hold on to this position, almost slithering his way up through the S's. The red car had an opportunity, but it was only really a half chance. Couldn't get the nose alongside. The yellow car's now having a look around the outside, but it's some bravery to make that one work. You can see both the cars getting twitchy across there. The yellow car still on the outside as they head up towards the next corner. Still got to be brave along there. It's a big flight for the Lotuses. They're still going to go side by side. Still not able to quite get that pass completed as again we head into the terrifying bumpy oversteery S's. The white car had a bit of a reprieve in all of that. However, as they would end up going side by side again through this next fast corner, I was luckily never stuck on the outside at that corner. I would not want to be with the way that these vehicles drive, and they're still going. So they've been side by side for about 5 corners around this lap. Eventually the yellow car would make up a position, which was, hard work to say the least. And he would then have the opportunity to go chasing after that third place and try as the white vehicle might. That yellow Lotus was just a little bit too fast, and a big slide through a very quick corner. Just, again, not what you want. I mean, this was us starting to get the hang of the cars as well, and it would still suddenly let go on you through these fast turns. The yellow car does an excellent job into the final corner here. Park the car on the apex as he gets the move done. There is no way for that white car to try a cutback. Once you kind of park that manoeuvre, you manage to block the white car's run. And he can sit right behind you all the way up towards the first and the second corner, but this is not an easy turn to get a position. It's not an easy turn to get a place, get a move completed with the many different lines and with the much difficulty in the handling of the cars at the front, and it was a fairly similar story. Once again, while the leader was gradually pulling away from second place, it was again very much a case of just, don't make any silly mistakes. Don't make any silly mistakes. If you can keep the car from oversteering, you can keep finding ways to make speed. And as I said, with the vehicles, when you've got things right with them, when you were getting the hang of the handling, you really could throw them around. It was trying to find the balance between throwing them around and getting lap speed and just throwing them around too much and getting a huge amount of oversteer. And that was basically how the entirety of the race went at the front. In the closing couple of laps, the yellow car would pull out a little bit more of a lead. And all in all, it wasn't perhaps the most exciting race after the first few laps. The field did spread out a fair bit. I think third was gradually catching second, but only gradually, and would run out of laps to do anything about it. So the yellow car would take victory. I think the black and red car in second. They were, yeah, a lot more... I mean, I remember these cars being twitchy in previous Forza games. They were more difficult than I was expecting them to end up being. That being said, still had some fun driving them. I actually had the closest finish of the entire race, having had a fairly lonely time of it all. We were heading into the final corner. Purple car had been tangled up and dropped back. Was quicker than me, but with only a few corners to go, I'd hoped I could fend him off just for long enough to get the position. And sure enough, he wasn't close enough into the hairpin to make anything work. And that would be, I think it was about a 7th or something position for me in the end. I mean, he'd find a way past fairly quickly with me getting a big wobble on the way through the second corner, but there we go. Hordes would take a victory with the Lotus. Tim Ninetales in second, EVR Liam T in third, with the very, very evil Lotus. Well, of the 3 races, I had very little in the way of luck. My grid positions didn't help. Getting tangled in 2 lap 1 incidences also didn't help. I had a lot of speed with the Preludes, and I very much like those cars. The Subarus were a lot more fun than expected, and the Lotuses were a lot more difficult than expected. While, yeah, the Elise race was a little bit more spread out. As per usual, as expected almost, with single-make racing, everybody in identical cars, you tend to have a lot of good fun. That, though, is going to be it for this week's Versus the Community. The next one is going to be held on Thursday, the 12th of April. We are going to go racing with D-Class 4-cylinder cars. So any car with a 4-cylinder engine, doesn't have to be an inline 4, can be a flat 4, etc. So yeah, if you want to sign up and take part in that, you can via our forums. There'll be a link in the description. Find the Foul Race Versus the Community section, and you can sign up in there. That's going to be it from me, though. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.